It's not that bad.
No, it just cracks me up that, you know, you turn your back and walk away and go get a drink of water and you come back, it's got dust on it already.
Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
Well, we got the cart put together. We're going to move some other things, but before we start doing that, watch what we did to finish this cart off.
So they say, put the bottom on, put the 4 uprights on, then put the top on, then put the handle on.
When do we put the casters on?
Last.
That'll work.
We have to decide on which end of the cart to mount the pair of rigid wheels and a pair of swivel wheels. For example, mounting the fixed wheels on the handle and the end of the cart will make a push cart like those in a grocery store.
You want to go ahead and grab the top and we'll try putting that on?
Yeah.
There's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. And I think they've shorted the screws. That's not nice. Do you have more over there besides the
no,
I just gave you?
I do see a lock washer over there.
Yeah.
And I think, and I could be just imagining, but it looks like there might be one in the wrong bag there. One,
we'll look at that in a
2,
minute.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, you gave me 8.
Right. Okay, you want to go ahead and set the top
Oh, I'll
on?
bet we're not shorted because I'll bet the handle.
Correct. Which end do you want to put the handle on?
Doesn't make any difference.
I don't think it matters.
They're identical. The only thing that matters is where you wind up putting the swivel wheels versus the stationary wheels. And I normally do assemble it like a grocery cart. All right. Are you ready with some of them set up?
I have 2 set.
Now, we didn't video it all because watching us tighten individual nuts and bolts would be like not the most exciting thing in the world.
Watching paint dry.
Paint at least changes color sometimes when it dries.
All right, well, let's get moving these pieces off the table onto the cart. I'm not going to attach the various pieces permanently to this cart yet, and I'll explain why as we go along. So first, I'm going to move that compressor off the table, and I'll put it underneath on the bottom.
Putting compressors and things like that on the bottom does 2 things. It gives you raw room on the top for actually working, but it also puts some weight on the bottom of the cart to help to make it more stable.
This isn't terribly heavy, but I think I'll go ahead and wrap the cord up a little bit. I'm going to wrap the cord up so it's not going all over the place. Oh, that feels like it has suctions on it.
It does.
Oh, it does.
It does. It has suction cups on it. That's cool because one of the problems with small compressors is
they walk around terribly.
Yeah.
But now we have a bunch of different mounting options. We have these suction cups, which is one thing I was going to consider using. But the other thing is we have holes that go through these
brackets.
legs.
Yeah. Where they put the suction cups through, that you could pop those suction cups out and use a nut and bolt if you wanted to.
Something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sucked down to the bottom shelf already.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm waiting for some connectors to come in. They're on order. They won't be here before tomorrow because it's
Holiday.
President's Day.
Holiday, yeah.
So nobody's shipping, or nobody's delivering at least. I've temporarily put the compressor on one side of the cart and the vacuum pump on the other side of the cart to give it a little more balance. There's more stuff to go, but I think we're going to talk a little bit about how we're going to power this equipment. I have here an industrial plug strip. It's supposed to be water resistant. You know, when you have things that are carrying household current or industrial current, they're very seldom really waterproof. In fact, I would say they're never waterproof. They're water resistant. And there's a switch here that is open, and that tells me this is not going to be waterproof. It'll be water resistant, kinda. But this isn't going to be over near Irene's wet finishing area. There's no reason for it to be there. So it'll be on the opposite side of the studio in all likelihood. We're not sure exactly where it's going to go yet. That's one of the reasons why we're setting it up here. We have more room. It's warmer.
Big thing is it's warmer.
And
Probably 40 degrees if we're lucky right now in the studio.
and there's room to spread things out because we brought in the
Portable table.
the 6-foot table, so that we have a spot to work on. Now, a lot of times you think about just using a plug strip and you plug it in the wall and you go plug everything else in. But there's a question here of where exactly am I going to mount this? Well, you know, Irene, if you'll sit down on the sofa, we can pretend like you're going to work on this.
The sofa's way too low. I have variable height chairs in the studio that I can use to adjust my height. And I have one particularly nice chair that Henry bought me a bunch of years ago that goes from pretty much office chair height up to like bar stool height.
Lab height, so
Lab
you
height,
can
yeah,
you can
which is
work
higher.
on a lab bench
Right.
just fine.
And I like that because depending on what I'm doing, sometimes you need to actually be this low. Like if I was doing certain types of wax work or cutting things, I might actually be working right here. So I don't want to be higher and having to crunch over the top. It's really bad ergonomics.
Well, I'm going to be plugging all of this equipment into this plug strip. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outlets. There's only 3 pieces of equipment that need to be plugged in, which is good. The question, though, is where am I going to mount this plug strip? And where I'm thinking right now is that I'll mount it underneath this handle. If it fits. Well, it fits, but there's a problem. I might not be able to plug the plugs in.
Well, you could always create a drop plate that comes down off that section.
No, I have an idea.
Or for that matter, you could plug it in, you could put it here.
we'll be able to plug all the equipment in, especially if I mount this plug strip down against this rolled edge of the top. Now, why would I want to put this plug strip up here, up high? Well, try reaching down where you thought we might be able to put it as an
I would only
alternative.
do it that at the bottom, unless I had to. You really want to be able to shut everything off in terms of electricity close at hand. It's a kind of an emergency off switch.
That's exactly right. Now, what I could do is I could put a big red emergency panic button on here, but
There's one of those on my shopsmith. Hit this if you need to stop everything.
but there's no reason for us to do that for this environment. This is perfectly fine, it's perfectly safe, and it gives Irene a quick way of turning it off if something goes wrong. What could go wrong? Well, we have two Chinese pumps underneath here. One's a compressor, the other is a vacuum pump. Either one of them could get hot, could start smoking, could burn up, could cause all kinds of problems. We also have the wax pot over here. That gets hot. It gets to, well, we know it's going to get the wax up to, what's the melting point that you use for the wax?
Well, one of them I use is 140. I have to check the new stuff. I don't remember what that is, but it's approximately 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
And that's not hot enough to light fire to paper or anything else like that. But, you know, it's electrical, it's electronics. It's possible that this thing could get out of control and could get hot.
We had a stove years ago in a rental house that we had in Massachusetts that lost its mind. And you would turn on a burner to low, and the next thing you know, it's as high as it goes, and you're burning dinner, you know.
And remember, this is the controller for the automatic clamp system. This has valves in here to control the vacuum, control the pressure, everything that goes on. When I was putting this together with you some time ago, you couldn't see in the back. These are a push to connect connection. To release it, I just press this blue portion of the fitting in, and it releases its grip on the tubing. So I just need to take some of these things off. I'll take off this tube, and I'll take off this tube. There are electrical connections here that are important. These are not waterproof connections. I would not even say they're water resistant. This one has 4 connections. This one has 2 connections. And this one also has 2 connections. Now, one of the things to remember is that there is a different connection on the end of one of these cables. That just allows me to determine which one is supposed to be plugged in where. So let's go ahead and start moving these things over onto the cart. Now, this automatic clamping system gets its electrical power from the wax pot. So I had to disconnect that electrical connection as well. Now, I'm going to have to take this apart. These machine screws have a hex cap head, so you can tighten them or loosen them using an Allen wrench, which is nice. And this company actually supplied the right size Allen wrench with the unit.
I love it when companies do that because sometimes it's a random size. Although we have big sets of T-handle Allen wrenches, it's still nice not to have to go bring up the entire sets in order to figure out which is which.
Okay, I'm just going to pick the top up. If you hold on to the base, please.
Got it. You're attached.
That was not supposed to be in my hand.
Okay.
You can go ahead and put that base on.
Weighs a ton.
It does. This is all solid metal. And
Yeah.
one of the things about some of these pieces of equipment from China is they use some serious metal.
Yeah.
Or they use some cheap plastic.
Yeah, one or the other. It's nothing in between, it seems like. This is a really, I mean, this is a chunky monkey piece of metal.
Well, the nice thing too is this unit has 2 air cylinders to apply pressure instead of just one, which means that there's going to be greater clamping pressure and there's going to be more uniform connections.
Yeah, this connection will have to be reconnected. I think it got yanked the same time as this one did.
We actually have to measure 63 millimeters
Yeah,
from
this is-
the edge of this to the
Right. It
edge of the clamp.
Pretty close. Okay.
All right.
For some reason, this thing seems to be torqued sideways, so we'll have to...
It isn't set
Right.
square in the base. And the clamping unit also can be adjusted.
Right. Yeah, I think the amount of pressure you said can be adjusted, and I know that the time frame can be adjusted.
Now there's one more thing that we didn't talk about when I was originally doing the test setup. Oh, it just fell on the ground.
Yeah, hit the floor.
And that is a foot pedal to cause this unit to actually operate in its automatic cycle. It has, like a lot of other things, it has 2-pin connector. When you step on this foot pedal, it will turn on the automatic clamping system and it will run through its cycle. So Irene will program it up for how long it's going to apply a vacuum, how long it's going to apply the first pressure, how long it's going to wait to the next pressure, and then how long it applies the second pressure. Kind of fancy.
I was just looking at this "Don't do this" sticker on here. It's a warning sticker. It's all in Chinese, but except for,
I know what it means.
I do too, because it's got a picture. Don't look into the wax squirter, so because it shows a piece of wax flying at your eyeball.
Now to finish this setup, I have a pressure cylinder that came from an even smaller compressor down in the studio. I'm going to set that pressure cylinder up to provide a vacuum reservoir so that the vacuum pump doesn't have to run all the time. I'm pretty sure that that vacuum pump is going to pull much more vacuum than is necessary for the operation of this unit, and we'll find out. So when I have all the connectors, I'll be able to try that out. In the meantime, I was supplied a certain amount of air tubing with this unit, and I won't be able to tell how much I actually need until Irene has sat down and imagined playing with the machine, because some of these parts will have to move around. So the next step for us in getting this all set up is get the rest of the connectors in, get the extra air line in, let Irene sit down and imagine that she's working it, connect it up, and then let her try. So what are you doing?
I'm playing with a disconnected air tube.
Oh, that may not go there.
Okay.
Anyway. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, because we're going to be doing a lot more stuff. We were just going through some of the things that we take to events and we figured out how to transport our small printer, the scales for weighing packages, packing material, shipping labels. What else?
Tape, scissors,
everything
all the
necessary.
inserts, yeah. all the
Everything
stuff.
necessary to ship.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. I'm tired.
I've been moving boxes in the truck all day, so yeah, it's good exercise. We have a storm coming in, so we're trying to get some things done before it clobbers us tonight, because they're not sure how much we'll get.
Time to brainstorm, Irene.
Yes. So until next time, bye. And keep on brainstorming, because obviously we are.
Cross your fingers
Yeah.
for all those parts that are supposed to be coming in, starting on Tuesday through Friday.
Right.